Hello, my name is Yong Wen Kin, matrix number 262326. Now I would like to present the speech delivered by Wendy Troxell. The title of the speech is Why School Should Start Later for Teens. The speaker is a sleep researcher who specializes in insomnia and other sleep disorder behavioral therapies. First of all, the speaker uses two techniques in the introduction of speech to gain the audience attention and interest. Firstly, the speaker starts the speech with telling a story about her son's sleeping condition on that particular time and her experience of waking up the son. To quote the speaker directly, she says it's 6 o'clock in the morning and her 4 years old son is fast asleep in his bed. She flips on the light and physically shakes her son awake. The speaker also shares about her friend's experience of waking up their children, where her friends yelled fire just to rouse her sleeping teen, and another friend had dumped cold water on her son's head just to get him out of the bed. In order to attract her audience into the speech, the speaker uses pauses, eyes contact, and shifts in her tones of voice. Secondly, the speaker also arouses the curiosity of the audiences. The speaker pulls her audience into the speech by building suspense about her subject through asking questions. For example, sound brutal, but perhaps familiar. And how can I knowing that what I know and doing what I do for a living, be doing this to my own son? This is one of the effective methods to gain the attention and interest of the audience.
For second question, the speaker successfully established her credibility. Credibility is the audience perception whether she, the speaker, is qualified to speak on the given topic. In the video, she used derived credibility. Derived credibility is everything she says and does in the speech itself. In the video, she mentioned that she is a sleep researcher and she used a very strong evidence to support her explanation and share her knowledge about sleep. The audience seems to be interested to her topic because she has proven her credibility by talking confidently and assertively about the topic due to her credibility.
Hello everyone, I'm Prasan here and I am continuing question 3. There are 4 main points that have been elaborated by the speaker. The 4 main points are supported by the supporting material. Supporting material is the material used to support a speaker's idea, and there are 3 major kind of supporting materials, which is example, statistic and testimony. The first main point of the speech is the condition of the sleep deprivation among American teenagers. The example is sleep deprivation among American teenagers is an epidemic. The speaker reveals the real condition about the sleep deprivation among American teenagers and tells the audience about its main causes. The main point is supported by the brief example, which is a specific case referred to into the pacing to illustrate point. For example, only about 1 in 10 gets the 8 to 10 hours sleep per night recommended by scientists, and there are many factors contributing to this epidemic, but the major factor preventing teens from getting the sleep they need actually a matter of public policy. The second main point is delay in teenagers' biological clock. We can see this from sentences. Around the time of puberty, teenagers experience a delay in their biological clock, which determines when we feel most awake and we feel most sleepy. The speaker supported the main point with give brief example about the status of hormone melatonin in teenagers. The speaker states this is driven in part by a shift in the release of the hormone melatonin. Teenagers' bodies wait to start releasing melatonin until around 11 p.m. The next main point is adolescence is the phase of dramatic brain development. The example is adolescence is a period of dramatic brain development, particularly in parts of brain that are responsible for those higher order thinking process, including reasoning, problem solving, and good judgment. The main point is supported by 2 supporting ideas, which are brief example and statistics. For brief example, the speaker states the very type of brain activity that is responsible for reining in those impulses and often risky behaviors that are characteristic of adolescents and that are so terrifying to us parents of teenagers. They know that like the rest of us, when teenagers don't get the sleep they need, their brain, their bodies and behavior suffer with both immediate and lasting effect. For statistics, the speaker is explaining and providing a sample of statistics on sleep problems suffered by teenagers, which is in our work with teens from La Unified School District. We found that teens with sleep problem were 55% more likely to ever use alcohol in the past month. In another study with over 30,000 high school students, they have found that for each hour of lost sleep, there was a 38% increase in feeling sad or hopeless and 85% increase teens in suicide attempt. The last point is physical health problem including obesity, heart disease, and diabetes at increased risk when teenagers skip out on sleep. For instance, the speaker states teens who skip out on sleep are at increased for risk for also physical health problems that plague our country, including obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. To support the last point, she used expert testimony to reinforce the idea by stating studies have shown that getting 5 hours or less of sleep per night, the equivalent of driving with a blood alcohol content above of legal limit. Advocates of the sleep-friendly start times and researchers in this area have product tremendous science showing its tremendous benefit or later start times. As the sleep researcher, the speaker used expert testimony to support the main point. Okay guys, these are the 4 main points of speech. Now I'm going to pass my another group member. Thank you.
Question number 4 about the type of organization. Speakers can use a variety type of organization. There are 8 types of organization. There are topical, contrast, spatial, chronological, biographical, causal, problem cause solution, and psychological. In the video, she uses the topical or chronological organization. The objective of topical or chronological organization is to create chunks of information that is meant to support your specific purpose. In the video, she mentioned 4 main chunks of information. There are how condition of rest being denied in the American youngsters, how biology clock is being postponed among youngsters, how youth stage is the most crucial part for brain development, and how rest misfortune affected on physical well-being issues. Now we move to the question 5 about the resource language. A good speaker must know how to use language vividly, accurately, and clear. In the video, she uses her language vividly, clear, and also he uses concrete words as the resource language. Concrete words usually refer to tangible objects, places, or even people. She mentioned about her son, about my 14-year-old son is fast asleep in his bed, sleeping the reckless deep sleep of a teenager as a form of resource language, where she used concrete words and she described her son as a resource language for concrete words. Resource language also include data and case study. There she mentioned about studies about sleep research, since she is a sleep researcher. And also she uses imagery and metaphor for the resource language. She also uses imagery and metaphor. Metaphor is one of the descriptive language where you make comparisons. She mentioned teenager bodies would wait to start releasing it until around 11 p.m., which is 2 hours later than what we see in adult or younger children. Here we see that she mentioned about comparison between adult and youngster. And also she mentioned about zombie as an imagery form of descriptive. It is essential to have connective to strengthen your structure in speeches. There are 4 types of connectives. The first one is transitions, the second one is internal preview, the third one is internal summaries, and the fourth one is signposts. Video we observed that she mentioned about sounds brutal, perhaps familiar. There mentioned that she transition as the connective. In connective, there is also reasoning. Reasoning is the process of drawing a conclusion based on evidence, which she did at the end of the video. Reasoning in public speaking is an extension of reasoning in other aspects of life. The first one is that you have to make relatable good, so you will be having the credibility to talk. And the second one is try to give your listeners agreement with your reasoning. Okay, that's all for me. Let's move to the next question.
Next, voices are a vital instrument by a speaker and the audience because it leaves a good impression to what the speakers are trying to deliver. In the video, the speaker supports her points through a soft but firm volume because she tries to make the audience interested in the point. She did not excessively raise her voice towards the audience. A good speaker has a very excellent control and adjusting to her voice according to the size of the room, the size of the audience, and the background of the noise. Through the video, the speaker also knows when and where to raise and lower her pitch to state her point in illustrating the situation or example to the audience. Next, the speaker voice rate and pauses are at an appropriate tempo for speaking. The key to balancing the rate of your voice should be in the middle range and not too extreme to keep the audience engaged. This shows that the speaker is enthusiastic about her topics. However, talking slowly could lead the audience having the thoughts that the speaker are uninformed, unready, or unprepared about the speech topic. The speaker pauses in her speech to infer that there are punctuation in her text, which in the eye of the audience are not visible. The spaces between the phrases give the audience the opportunity to understand her sentences and paragraph. This helps the audience increase comprehensions in her speech. Next is body language. Body language is a part of message that the speaker trying to deliver. There are 4 aspects needed to bring attention, in which is personal appearance, movement, gesture, and eye contact. First is the personal appearance. Personal appearance must be neat and appropriate, as the audience sees you before they hear you. This will indicate your credibility. In the video, the speaker used a professional blue dress, where she looked neat, confident, and credible as a sleep researcher. Next is movement. The speaker movement throughout the video are very minimized. By doing the minimized movement, she looks more natural and easily engaged to the audience because she seems natural and spontaneous. Next is the gesture. Gesture plays an important role in delivering your speech. In the video, the speaker naturally moving her hands, both of her hands, in circular motion, which it is a common empathetic gesture that shows that she is excited and she increased the rate of her voices. She keeps her gesture minimized because she doesn't want to distract her audience from her message. This also helps clarify or reinforce her idea for the audience to understand the speech. Moreover, the eye contact. Eye contact are the most important element in communicating setting as it acts as the window of the soul. This helps the speakers shows their truthfulness, intelligence, attitude, and feelings. Through the video, the speaker constantly tries to make eye contact with her audience. She starts her eye contact from the middle of the room and moves to the other side of the room to ensure her audience paying attention and understand to her speech.
Now, I will discuss about the type of reasoning that used by the speaker. The type of reasoning that the speaker relies most throughout the speech is causal reasoning. The causal reasoning establishes the relationship between the causes and effects. In her speech, she points out the major factor of causing the sleep deprivation among the teenager is the public policy and the causing effect. In other words, the public policy causes the teenager with a problem of deprivation of sleep, and this problem brings a lot of negative impacts or effects to the teenager in terms of physically and mentally, as they are not getting enough of sleeping hours. The speaker indicates that the problem of deprivation of sleep causes the physical health problem including obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. Besides, some of the teenagers will drive to school. The safety of the teenager will be not guaranteed when they are driving on the road, probably getting involved in an accident due to sleep deprivation. In terms of the mental problem, teenagers will encounter immediate and lasting effects on their brains, bodies, and behavior. It might lead to overdose of substance use, depression, and even commit suicide. Based on the speech of the sleep researcher, she has presented clearly the relationship between the causes and effects of the sleep deprivation among the teenager. The causal reasoning helps the speech to be more convincing for the audiences to take the issues of sleep deprivation very seriously. Next, I would like to talk about the emotional appeal that are used by the speaker. At the beginning of the speech, speaker tells the audience that she is a sleep researcher and she knows the consequences of sleep loss. However, she's still deferring her son's sleeping time when he desperately needs as a rapidly growing teenager. She feels like she's literally robbing him of his dream. From the statement, we know that the speaker feels very guilty as she realizes that she has been doing something to her son that against her profession as a sleep researcher. Furthermore, the speaker expresses a feeling of compassion to the incident that happened on the teenager right after she states the consequences of deprivation sleep among the teenager by showing the result of the study that indicates the percentage of teenagers feeling sad or hopeless, attempts of committing suicide, and the increased risk of health problems. She stops talking for about 6 seconds. During the break of the 6 seconds, the audience could probably think and feel the loss that causes by the method of deprivation sleep among the teenagers. At the end of the speech, the speaker tries to connect the audience with a vivid example so that we really think about the benefits of getting an extra sleep hour, not only for the teenager but also with the adults. Here she said, so tomorrow morning, when coincidentally we get to set our clock back by an hour, and you will get that delicious extra hour of sleep, and the days seem a little longer and a little more full. Think about the tremendous power of sleep. The speaker knows her audience very well, as the audience are groups of parents and teenagers as well. So it would be even better if her speech could create a resonance between the youth and the adults. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Prasan. My metric number is 261290. Now we move to the question 11 that what method I use to prepare the audience for ending. A speaker should an audience know that the speech is coming to an end, concluding a speech suddenly, and it will leave the audience unfulfilled. For this speech, the speaker using dissolve ending that create emotional appeal by gradually fading into the dramatic. To prevent any doubt when ending, a speaker can build the momentum of the speech by using tone, pacing and rhythm. When the speech coming to the end, the speaker try to refer back the point at the beginning of the speech when the Troxer said many schools are starting around 7:30 or earlier, despite the fact the major medical organization recommend the middle and high class start no earlier than 8:30. So when the speech coming to the end, the speaker repeat again the beginning point. Secondly, she dramatically pause and make an emotional remark by sharing and continuous of a story. Okay guys, now we go to the last question, that why does the speaker used to reinforce the central idea. There are several techniques used by the speakers to reinforce the idea. The first technique used by this speaker is by referring to the introduction. The speaker said, I also know that by waking him up hours before is natural biologically. The speaker sums up a speech by repeating a previous statement to remind her audience. This can be seen, she mentioned, would be our children to be able to wake up naturally in harmony with their own biology. The whole idea of the speech is about the enough of sleep for teenagers, and the speakers want to remind the audience again the importance of the sleep. And the speaker not only restates us introduction statement but also the continuance of it so that the audience would understanding the whole story. In conclusion, the speaker use simple technique by use your voice and your first reaction give more impact to the audience. For example, the speaker says, think about the tremendous of the power of sleep. The speakers use the caution statement to allow the audience to think and reflect on themselves. Eye contact make a ending speech more compelling and effective. That's all from us. Thank you.